Hey, Peter, welcome to eXp Chats. Great to have you here.
Yeah, g'day, Lee. How you going?
I'm doing well. Hot out your way at Dalby?
It started to turn very tropical yesterday. Yeah, so uh, it's feeling good. I like that summer heat. Nothing
do
better
you?
than that. Yeah.
Do you? No, I got the aircon cranked, and I think I'm more and more hating the extreme heat that we get here.
All right.
Maybe it's because I'm aging. I don't know, but it's a hot day out there today. So glad to have you here today, Peter. What's your story, man? Like, you've been in real estate for a while now, haven't you?
Yes, I have. So look, my story quickly. I grew up in real estate, in and around real estate, because my father was a principal licensee of Ray White. Many years ago. He retired in 1997, so I sort of grew up putting up signs and doing things like that with him. And as I got older, I bought and sold my own properties and always enjoyed like real estate and what it could do for you.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of different sort of vocations, but in 2008 I decided to get into real estate. I went back to where my father finished his career at Ray White, and took a job as a salesperson there. And I actually
Where was that? Was that in Dalby or?
Yeah, so that was in my hometown of Dalby. I stepped back in there, and I think I lasted not long, couple of months, and I actually got let go. I actually got fired from my first job in 2008. So from there I sort of scratched my head and thought, well, I wonder what I should get up to now. And
Isn't that amazing? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
A few people sort of talked to me about, maybe you should just do your own thing. And it took me a little while to go, well, can I actually do this? Because I really hadn't had any hands-on real experience. I understood how the game worked, but hadn't had any real working experience apart from that sort of couple of months. So look, went out on my own, just the boot of my car sort of stuff, and just started talking to anyone and everyone about real estate. So that was 2008. Over time I decided I needed a rent roll and I needed an office, and started trying to employ people and whatnot. I've always struggled employing people. I'm probably too much of a lone ranger, I guess. But I've battled away over the years. I got confused a few times. I actually sold my rent roll, then I bought it back. I've predominantly want to do sales. That's what I've wanted to do the whole time.
Yeah.
If only eXp was around at the start, things would have been a lot easier for me. So I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. But so I've cruised along there for many years, and it's probably 3 years ago where I've come on board with eXp. I saw an opportunity there because it was a cost-cutting thing for me. I looked at the cost of running a business, a sales business, and I could drop that cost from $2,000 a month to $200 a month in raw costs. So that's what brought me over to eXp initially.
How did you come across eXp?
So one of my, I guess, mentors and actually good friends, and someone who he was actually my trainer at REIQ, was Glenn Twiddle.
Right.
So I'd had a lot to do with him over the years, and he'd helped me no end. And he showed me this system, and I thought that could really work for me. But it was a cost-cutting thing for me, which I look at that now and I think, wow, was that all that influenced me? Because there's so much more that you get out of being part of this group, and it's certainly not the cost cutting that is keeping me here at the moment. So that's my story from start to where I am today with the eXp.
So one of the early adopters, really, when they first came to the country in Australia back in late 2019. One of the first guys to join.
So I think I couldn't actually tell you, but I reckon I'm not really sure, but I reckon I would have been in the first 20 people that joined.
Yeah, I think so.
But I couldn't actually tell you for sure. Someone would have to look at the numbers.
Look at the numbers. Well, not numbers. You're not 007 or.
Or maybe I am 7. I don't know.
Yeah, you might be. Oh, it's a good one to have. So look, good story there, and I think it it's something that most people get attracted to this business because of the comp splits and then the other income streams that you can have on it. Financially, once you look at it, it really seems to be a bit of a no-brainer. And I know that word's used a lot in this company, but it really is. And that's certainly one of the attraction points that I had, and a lot of people do. But when you look at someone like yourself running a business with all the overheads of offices and subscriptions and everything else that you added up, you know, and that's good. You explained it, $2,000 a month down to $220 a month.
Yep.
You know, with all that. How did you look at it from a profit point of view? Because I know in speaking with other offices here that have some similar small setups, maybe boutique offices, they're a bit reluctant to look at eXp because they're already doing their own thing. They've got their own brand. They don't even think about the cost, perhaps. Did you think about how that could affect your overall business performance?
Well, when you actually looked at what you got back in like shares, it was so minimal. The actual cost to it. That's probably the thing with me. When Glenn we went through it and explained it all, and what you got back in share value was around about what they took off you. So that sort of got me over the line from that regard. But I mean, since I joined up, I certainly haven't gone backwards. I mean, this last year was the best year of my career, money-wise. So that wasn't a factor at all for me when you look at what you could get back. And I knew on those numbers that there was just no way that I wasn't going to get one of these.
Yeah, the icon, baby.
So once I knew that really wasn't a thing for me at all, that side of it. But 20 sales, what was it? What is it? 20 sales.
It's once you get to 100,000 GCI, you've got to make an additional 20 transactions or sales. Or $350,000 GCI, which is still a really low benchmark. So if you're doing those sort of figures, that's when you get 21,000 of the 25,000 you give back.
So for me that wasn't a thing, because I mean my whole career I'd done those numbers. It wasn't a thing for me.
And I've got to admit, I looked at it the same way. I said, well, I'm doing this much. I know I can definitely get to the 100% comms easy enough. And it's likely that I'll get to the icon as well, so that I get most of it back in shares, which is...
The only question for me was, could this company go broke and I don't get my shares?
Right.
And I looked at the history of that, and you could see that was just so unlikely with what they had going on.
And they keep scaling at very rapid paces, so it's still very unlikely, isn't it? So great journey, mate. What are now that you've joined it, so you obviously joined for certain reasons, what are the I guess the few favorite things in your mind that you love about the company, that if someone said, hey Peter, you know, why should I come to eXp, what would they be?
I think there's just camaraderie with like-minded people that are doing similar things and going through similar real estate related issues, I suppose. It's quite amazing, like the relationships I've built up with people who I've never physically met, never worked with, and I feel like they're colleagues and friends of mine, like yourself and Bjorn, Chris. There's all those guys that you sort of meet, guys and girls. Very everyone's just seems so enthused about what they're doing. And I know in my experience in the workplace that I was in many years ago, there was a very sort of negative feel to that workplace for me. Maybe not for other people, but for me it was just like, oh God, nothing works. That was the sort of attitude. We couldn't be bothered. Nothing works. Just keep the same old way. But everyone in eXp you come across, they're open to different ideas and a different way of doing things and changes. I think that's the big thing for me.
Very innovative. I couldn't agree more. I think I'm working for a couple of offices in my past too, just that, people coming in that negative attitude, everything's tough and just like draining, and you're just like wanting to go, get it. And you're surrounded by that. That's why I don't watch the news, because I want to be surrounded by positive and energetic people and ideas. So, and the other part is innovative. You can, it's not walking into an office and go, well, we have weekly meetings and this is how we do things, and you bring up ideas and you get shunned. Because it's your own business, your own brand, you can sort of run it how you want, but you can also bring in these ideas to collaboratively work with the company as a whole. And that's what the company's doing in Australia right now. We've got so many people out there that are putting in their ideas to help this company in Australia grow.
Yeah, exactly right.
Fantastic. So the collaboration, innovation, anything else? Final points that you want to share?
No, I don't think so, Lee. I think we've covered everything there. Yeah.
How many sales are you doing roughly a year, if I can ask?
I think I did 60. I actually don't count them, Lee.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
so
like me,
slack with all that sort of thing. I think I did 60 the last year, but I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm a bit slack with the sort of numbers side of things.
Everyone used to say, focus on your numbers, focus on your numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm slack with all that. But the year before I joined eXp, I did 25.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I've done far better. The market's been better, of course. But you know, it's eXp's allowed me some freedom. So I think I've sort of opened up a bit more.
Yeah, it does that. I think that's what happened. That's what I found. Joining the company, I was a bit reluctant. You know, was this going to affect my business? But once I joined, I actually found it allowed me to do better. And yes, I came in during an upward market. But that aside, I think I would have still flourished anyway, because I just felt this sense of freedom that allowed me to do my own thing my own way. And I think that sort of authenticity comes out through the business, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So perfect, Peter. Thanks for your time, mate. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing.
No dramas at all. Thanks, mate.
Cheers.